Bethany here with Craft with Bethany, and I welcome you back to my channel. Today we have a really fun project. Again, another project from my mystery box, the Craft with Bethany mystery box, available in my craft source the month of September. And throughout the whole month, I'm going to be making crafts with the products from that mystery box. You'll continue to get sneak peeks of things that are in the mystery box, but I'm not going to give it all away right up front because it's a mystery and that's the fun. You're going to get a variety of products in that mystery box. It's totally worth it. I hope you get exposed to some new products that you may have never thought to try before, but then we can walk through them together in these tutorials I'm going to be posting, and maybe you learn to like some new stuff. You know, you never know. This is the fun part of crafting, and I'm here to help you along the way and help you with all of the products that you're going to be getting in this awesome mystery box. So for today's project, I'm in a different space. This doesn't look like my craft room, but it's an extension of my craft room. It's actually the closet behind my craft room. It's also my laundry room. And I have this huge space over here on this side of this closet. And I have a really tall countertop, lots of cabinets and storage. It's where I store all of my paints and alcohol inks and everything else. And basically I do a lot of messier projects in here. All of my resin and epoxy projects I do in here. So with that being said, I'll tell you what today's project is and some of the things that you'll be getting in your mystery box. So today's project is car coasters. These are acrylic car coasters. These actually have just a film on them. We'll be pulling all of that off. We'll be making these look super awesome today. And we're going to be using some of the other products in your mystery box. So I'll show you what those are. We have this Brightly Fragmented is the name of it. It is a printed vinyl. It's an adhesive vinyl, so it's like a sticker vinyl, and we're going to be using this today. We are also going to be using this sheet that comes in your mystery box. You might be going, well, what is this for? This is the transfer tape. This is what takes this vinyl and applies it to your coaster today. So we're going to be using that. We're going to be using a couple of tools that came in your box, the silicone brush and the scraper tool. What I love about the scraper tool that my craft source has is it has a nice firm edge. It's pretty smooth, but it's good for like creasing cardstock when you make boxes or cards. You need that sharp crease. But this is also great for when you want to make sure that you can get a nice crease or nice stick down on your transfer tape to your vinyl, but you don't want to scratch anything. You want to make sure it stays really smooth when applying it to your surface. We're going to be using this today quite a bit. And then you're also going to be using the rubber silicone mat that came in your box. This is great for epoxy and resin projects because it won't stick to this. It will get on it and then it will dry and then it just pops right off. Same with the silicone brush. Okay, so these are great for working with those types of materials. So what we're going to do first is obviously design our coasters. We need to figure out what we're going to put on these. So I have some great tips and tricks of what I'm going to be putting onto these coasters today. I'm going to walk you through those steps in Cricut Design Space, and then you can decide what you want to put on yours. But everything I'm using in Cricut Design Space, you have access to if you have Cricut Access. So check it out, but let's go over to Cricut Design Space now. Let's get all of our vinyl cut, and then we'll meet back here to start working with some resin and putting everything together. Okay?
All right, everyone. So I am in Design Space, Cricut Design Space, and what I'm going to start by doing is uploading the file we need for our project. So I'm going to go to Upload and Browse, and then all of the acrylic blank SVGs are downloaded in one folder from my craft source, which makes it super easy. We're going to do the car coasters. It's already labeled car coasters. We don't have to edit this in any way, and we're just going to click Upload. And now that it's uploaded here, I'm going to highlight it and click Insert Images, and that is going to put it into my workspace here. It's already set to the size it needs to be, but it's always good to double check to make sure that the size it transferred to is the right size for your cut in Design Space. So what I'm going to do is take my actual car coaster that came in the mystery box and use my ruler and measure it, and that is the right size. Sometimes images can get resized when transferring them into a new program, so always double check it to make sure. Now we are cutting 2 of these, so with it highlighted with the little box around it, we are going to click duplicate, and now we have 2, exactly the same. The thing I'm going to do is take this second one and shrink it down just a little. And I'm going to make it a different color. Let's make it white. And I'm going to put it over this one. And what you can do now is highlight both, click align, and center it horizontally and vertically. And now it is perfectly centered in the original size. So the black one is the original size and the white one's a little smaller. The reason we're doing this is we only want to cut out the outside edge so we can have a border around our car coaster. So now what you're going to do is highlight the whole thing again. Go down here to this bottom right hand corner where it says slice. You're going to click slice. What you're going to end up with is the smaller one, the biggest one, which is the original size, and then this middle piece, which is the same size as this one, but it's what we cut out of this one by layering them, and hit slice. So you're basically taking a slice out of the pie. This is the pie, and we took this slice out because we wanted to just cut a border piece that will fit around our car coaster. Now that we have this slice, we don't really need these anymore, but we'll hold on to them for just now in case we decide to do something with it. But now that we have our perfect slice, we actually need 2 of these because we're going to make 2 car coasters. And I'm going to hit duplicate. And now I have 2 perfect sliced outlines of the car coasters. So when I cut my vinyl, it's just going to cut these borders that I can lay perfectly onto the border of my car coaster. And then we're going to put some other fun stuff in the middle. So what you see here now is that I've uploaded 2 images into my workspace here. And basically these 2 images are actually in Cricut Design Space available to you. So if you have a Cricut membership, then these are free to you. If not, you would probably have to pay for them, but they're found over here in images. You just go to images and search. This one I searched but first coffee, and there it was. The other one I just searched like coffee and it showed up. But these are the 2 that I want to put, one on each coaster. So this one is pretty simple. I'm just going to kind of size it down and drag it over and keep sizing it till it fits. That way I know how small I need to cut it so that it fits on the coaster. And you can turn it so it fits better with that little curve in the coaster. That looks pretty good. So that one I'm happy with. Now this one, because we are putting a border around the coaster, I don't really want a border around, like this dark wavy border around it. So what I'm going to do is highlight this one. I'm going to teach you guys a little trick. So if you import an image from Cricut Design Space, you can contour it by basically removing pieces that you don't want. So you just highlight it, and down here in the bottom right corner there's a contour button. And here we're going to select the things we don't want anymore. So we don't want this back piece. And I also don't want it to be black behind there. So I'm going to deselect that. And I'm kind of deciding I don't really want the little dots around it. Mainly because they're going to be really hard to weed, really small. And that's not going to be fun. Plus they create a border and I'm already going to have a border. So I really just want like the words and the cute little coffee bean. I don't really want all this extra. So I'm kind of making it my own by doing this, which is super fun and super easy, pretty quick to do, and should turn out pretty cute in our finished project. I don't know about you guys, but I love coffee. I like iced coffee, I like hot coffee, I like lattes and cappuccinos. I like flavored stuff. Yes, I am a big fan of pumpkin spice. If I could have it year round, I would. I think I got all of them. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just click out of there and look, there it is, our new image. I'm gonna again resize this down to fit in our space. And I'm gonna turn it, this one I may not actually turn, but just a little bit. So if we can turn it this way. That works. That is so cute. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I am probably going to now consider this ready to cut. I am going to cut the border with one type of adhesive vinyl, and then this is going to be a different type of adhesive vinyl. So they're going to cut separately. And by making that happen, I'm going to highlight both of these words, and I'm going to make them a different color so that they show up on a different mat. That way when I go to make it, this is one mat for the one vinyl I'm using for my border. And then this is my second mat just for my words. Once you have your mats set up and ready to go and you're about to load your material, we need to now click continue. This will be connecting to your machine. I am using the Cricut Maker today. And I'm going to be clicking on, let's see here, premium vinyl. This is just an adhesive vinyl. So that's the one I'm going to click on. My pressure is set to default, which will cut mine just right and make sure I have my right blade in place. And which you can't see right now because this is a screen recording, is the up and down arrow button is blinking on my machine. So now I am ready to put my material on my mat and place it into my Cricut, hit the start button and let it cut everything. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut everything. And then when I'm done, I'll meet you back to start putting our car coasters together.
Okay, so now that we've got our vinyl images cut, I've already weeded this one and put it on the transfer tape, but I thought I would go ahead and weed this one with you. Just using my weeding tool. These vinyls from my craft source just weed so easily. It's so nice. Oh, so I put a new blade on my Cricut and it kind of cut through it all the way. See? Not ideal, which is fine. I should have done less pressure instead of the default because it is a brand new, super sharp blade. That's okay. I forgot I put it on there. I was cutting faux leather the other day and completely forgot. So I'm going to take my transfer tape and I just kind of like measure it. I'm going to go down to here and then like to here. Okay. I just like to cut out the piece that I need. And this is a medium tack. You don't need anything super sticky. It's always the hardest part for me, and I don't know why. I'm just going to use my weeding tool to lift the corner. There we go. So we're going to pull it off. What's great about this is it has a grid. So if you needed to make sure that things were lined up straight, you could with this grid. All right, so we'll press it on there, and then we're going to use our tool, our scraper tool. We want to make sure it's really on there. And then I'm actually going to cut these in half before I pull this up. Just makes it a little easier. I didn't do that with that one. Let's see. Okay, so we have our two car coasters. They do have this blue film over them. These are also hard to get started. So now it's perfectly clear. I'm going to lay that down on my silicone mat and gently lift this up. We're going to do our best to line these up. Not bad. All right, I'm going to take this tool again. And gently lift it. I'm gonna make sure I got that on there really good. Whoop, sticking to myself. There we go. And these pieces right here are reusable for several times. So hold on to those if you want. If you're doing multiple pieces, I could have just done one at a time and then stuck this one on that one and done this, but I just did it all at once. But you can reuse these if you're doing more than one. Let's get this one going. You can use your weeding tool to get the corner started. Just be careful not to scrape or scratch your acrylic. We are going to be covering it, so I guess it's not a big deal, but there we go. Let's set this one aside. I have this one. Now I got this idea to do the border like this from the girls over at My Craft Source who were doing a similar tutorial. They did a border with another vinyl that comes in the mystery box, the marble vinyl. And I thought, oh, that is such a cute idea. So I kind of stole the idea from them, but I'm kind of taking what they did and going up a notch with it. We are going to be adding UV resin to seal it, and we're going to be adding some glitter. There we go. And I'm going to stick this right back on here. All right. So now I have these two. And I'm going to cut these in half because one is going to go on each card coaster. Same process. There's that one. It says coffee. Super cute. And there's this one I think we had going on at an angle, but I want to see if I can get it to fit this way. I think I did. There we go. So now we have the vinyl on our two coasters. Okay, so I noticed when I was looking a little closer that my border was off a little bit on one side, so what I did is I took an X-Acto knife and just went around the edge and trimmed off any excess, because you really don't want any hanging over for this next step. So that's a quick, easy way to just make it perfect all the way around. The next thing I did, and I went ahead and did it on this one, so I'm not going to touch it, but I'm going to do it on this one, is I took a little alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and I sprayed it on top, and I am just cleaning it because I noticed I had some fingerprints on my clear acrylic, and I don't really want to seal those in. I want to make sure that they are gone. And it's a nice clean surface. Clean and clear. I got a little dust and stuff. You want to make sure there's nothing on it. So now it's perfect. So I'm just going to set them both down. We're done with the alcohol. And I have my little silicone brush here. And this is the UV resin that I'm going to be using. This will be linked in the description below, along with the UV light and everything else that we're going to be using today. Everything will be linked below. And I am just doing a clear UV resin coat over this whole top. And then we're going to cure it. And once it's cured, we'll flip it over and do glitter. So we're just going to do the clear on top. This is going to seal it in, so you don't even feel the vinyl on there. It'll be smooth like glass. And you're going to use this brush to kind of move it around. You just need a decent thin layer. You want to coat the whole thing evenly. So put a little on there in the middle and kind of work its way out. You do not want it to drip over the edge. If you see any bubbles, kind of use your brush to pop them. But now this is the part where you're just going to barely tap it on the edge. This is the part where you kind of hold your breath. So I'm going to keep working around these, get both of them covered with the resin, and then I'm going to cure them at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I put my cap back on my resin. It's in a black bottle to protect it from any light. And then I'm going to take my UV light, and my UV light comes off of the base. It's magnetically stuck to the base. So I'm going to take it off and just move it right over, and I'm going to set it to 60. And I'm going to do that about 3 times to make sure it's really nice and cure. Okay, so these are done. I did about 4 minutes on them, so I did it 4 times for 60 seconds each. And I let them sit and cool for a minute. They're cool, they're smooth. Of course, I got my fingerprints on them again. That's okay. What we're gonna do now is set these aside for just a minute. And we're going to get our silicone cup. I forgot to mention this does come in your mystery box. So we have a silicone cup. And I'm using just some white glitter today. And again, the UV resin. So what we're going to do is put some resin in our silicone cup. Remember, the resin will not stick to the silicone cup. And I'm using quite a bit because we have to fill up the back of both of these. The UV resin will not stick to this cup, just like it won't stick to this mat or this brush. When it dries, that'll just pop right off, or I can wipe it off right now. But I'm going to put some in here And I am going to just pour in some glitter. And then I am going to get a popsicle stick. I like to use a popsicle stick to mix my glitter and resin. That way I don't get it all the way up on my little stick there. And I want this to be pretty like heavy glitter. I don't want to really be able to see through it too easily. But since I'm using white, it makes it a little harder. So you kind of have to add a little more. But you want to make sure that it's still the consistency of the resin. You don't want it to get too heavy glitter where it's not runny. All right, so once you have it mixed really, really well, and I believe we do, I'm gonna put the cap back on that glitter so I don't spill it everywhere. That would be a huge mess. This is looking very nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our coasters and we're gonna flip them over. Side by side. And you may see some little micro bubbles because we put it directly on that clear coaster, and that's okay. We're gonna make them disappear with this glitter. And I may have mixed a little more than I needed. So I will show you what you can do with extra resin in a minute. If I have some left over, which I have a feeling I might. But just like the same process we did on the front with the clear resin, we're gonna do on the back. Just put it all the way up to that edge. All right, so just the same process as before. We're going to cure it for another 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so these have cured. You can hear they're firm. You do see I did get a little resin on the silicone mat and I cured it under the light and it will pop right up just like that. And the mat is clean. So just if you get some on there, just cure it onto your mat and then it'll pop right up. You can also place your silicone cup that has leftover resin in it under the light and it will cure in there, and then you just crack it and it'll all peel right out. It's actually very satisfying to do. So that's a way to clean this out really easily, and you can just use dish soap and water to wash it the rest of the way. But now that these are cured, let's reveal. Look at how beautiful those are. Completely cured. Nice and shiny and smooth. And these are sealed. You can't feel this vinyl at all anymore. You do feel a little difference on the back because there's glitter in it. You could do another clear coat over that if you wanted to, but since it's the bottom, it's not really necessary. These are ready to sit in my car with a hot coffee cup or a drink that's getting a little wet on the outside from, you know, condensation. So this is just, I am so pleased with how these turn out. If you love these, be sure to let me know in the comments. So guys, what do we think of our adorable car coasters? Aren't these fun? And they're really easy to make. And what I love about working with UV resin is it cures within seconds. So this makes it a very fast project. Unlike other epoxy resins that take days to cure, these cure in just a few minutes. So now they're ready to put in my car. But remember I said I had some leftover UV resin in my cup? And I was like, I poured too much in there, and it happens. Well, I got a clear round, acrylic round out, and I made I just put it on one side so I can do something else on the other. But I used one on that, and it's got a hole there for me to be able to make a keychain. They sell these at my craft source, by the way. And then I got a mold out. I don't know how comfortable or how familiar you are with working with molds, but I love this alphabet mold. It has the numbers as well, and it's such a fun mold. And these make great keychains as well. So I poured some of that resin into the letter B for Bethany, and I made a B, and this cured within just a few minutes with that same light. And it's cured, and it's thick. Like, it's not a thin little letter. It's perfect. So what I'm going to do is just put a little screw hook in there and then add a little keychain and a tassel. And I may take a silver or gold paint marker to go around the edge just to dress it up a little, but how fun is that? So that's something else you can use with your extra resin if you pour a little too much, because it's gonna happen and you don't want that stuff to go to waste. All right guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, another sneak peek into a project you can make with my Craft Source mystery box, available this month. Again, those products are all handpicked by myself. So these are super fun. If you have any questions about these products or this tutorial, just leave a comment below and be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram to continue to see more of these videos, and like and subscribe and hit that little bell button so the next time a tutorial comes out, you don't miss it. All right guys, have a great one and I will see you next time. Bye.